So here's the deal. When we see market changes happening, the number one question to ask is, are we looking into a window into the past? Are we looking at something that's already happened? Or are we seeing the beginning of a new trend? It's definitely been a slower late summer this year than it has been in recent years past, but all of the indicators are making some changes the other way. So is this the start of something new for our fourth quarter of 2024? Or are we just describing that back to school bump? Let's find out. My name is Stephen Meade with Domicile Real Estate, and this is our Southern California first-time buyer market update for October 1st, 2024. I want to dive right into the statistics because I think it's very interesting this week, especially if you are a buyer in the space. There really is a lot to talk about. So first off, let's start with close prices. Again, remember, this is a look in the rear view mirror. This is looking at things and contracts that were negotiated 30 to 45 days ago. What do we see? Some price softness, even in our single family homes. And we see, for the most part, things have really been holding steady all summer long with some ups and downs. There hasn't been a huge amount of variation, not really a trend upward or downward for those single family homes. I would say in the condo realm, things have been a bit softer, and we have seen a little bit of retreat in the prices. That's on that red line there. Again, because this is our entry level market update, we're looking at the first quartile of homes in LA and Orange counties in our 2-bedroom, 2-bath configuration and our 3-bedroom, 2-bath single family home configuration to sort of approximate that entry level end of the market. If we look at our total monthly payment, there's really some good news here if you are a first time buyer, right? Looking at our single family home front, we are at about $6,000 a month. That is significantly less. We've not really seen these numbers since the very beginning of the year. That is a huge reduction, and it is a similar story, but even more dramatic here on the entry-level condo side. So if you have been someone looking for some of that sweet relief, that combination of prices being a little softer and interest rates coming down, you've definitely got it. So I do not want to hear any moaning and complaining come next spring if these trends reverse. If we look at our minimum household income required, these are actually pretty reasonable. Remember, this is a household income for however many income earners are in that household. And assuming no other debt, you can be in on that entry-level single-family home with a combined income of 147-ish. I think that's pretty good compared to where we've been. And 108 if you are in the condo camp. Looking at our absorption rate, right, this is something that's definitely showing some numbers that are holding steady or starting to get maybe even a little bit better, right? We have not seen absorption rate figures on our entry-level condos this good really since back in July of this year, or I guess, late July. If you are looking at our entry-level single-family home, those numbers are also looking up a bit. You'll notice in some of our graphs, we see this kind of up and down yo-yo effect. I think some of that has to do with the fact that while we have a decent amount of inventory, it's not always the right inventory. And what do I mean by what is the right inventory? If you've got 10 home buyers looking in a particular market segment and you've got 20 listings come online, but only 5 of them are viable and desirable listings to those buyers, you still have a shortage, right, of listings, because what you have is you might have 20 of those listings, but you only have 5 listings that buyers actually want. And I think that's really what we're starting to see in this marketplace is it's a case of the haves and the have-nots, right? The homes that are the type of inventory that buyers are looking for are tending to find buyers pretty quickly in most price segments, especially at the entry-level end of the market. But those homes that are not necessarily what buyers are looking for, those are taking a bit longer to sell. They're needing price reductions. They're needing some kind of incentive to move them. If we look at our total inventory, that has also appears to be turning a corner. We are seeing reductions both in our entry-level single-family home as well as in our entry-level condo. I think we are going to see that inventory really start to peter out towards the end of the year. We had kind of a run-up through the spring and summer. And I think now we're going to start seeing that number maybe start to head down towards the end of the year. If we look at our still active percentage, right, this is another kind of proxy for market demand. And so what's important to understand here is two things. Number one, what is the level of 14 days still active, right? And then the second thing to look at is what direction is that graph pointing. Now, remember on this graph, lower means a more competitive market. So on our entry-level single-family home, we see that number reducing off of its peak. Now it's looking more like kind of some of those numbers that we were seeing in July, and it is pointing downward. And I think that really reflects with how the market's felt. It seems like that entry-level single-family home market has picked up, especially if you've got a well-priced, clean house, not necessarily fully remodeled, but something that is move-in ready. And even on our condo market, we're seeing it pointing a more gentle downward curve, but definitely something that indicates demand is improving. Now, if we look at our weak supply of homes, that really tells another story here. We see a dramatic reduction in the availability on the condos. We had a spike in inventory there, and that spike basically has gotten absorbed into the market. But I think the more interesting story here is that entry-level single-family home figure. It is pointing downward. And I think what's interesting about that is if you look last year on this chart, you'll see that that amount was rising. We're almost about exactly where we were last year. But this year, we're heading and pointing in the downward direction on that inventory, now at about 7.5 weeks. By the way, folks, 7.5 weeks is not a lot of supply on the market when you think about it. That is really less than our historical averages, which are closer to 10, 12 weeks on market, 12 weeks worth of homes. So we are still technically in an under-inventoried market. And then, of course, if you look at that condo figure, again, we're right back around where we were, close to this time last year, and we are pointing down instead of up. Anyhow, that really is our stats for this week. It's kind of an interesting time in the market. I think, if you're a buyer out there, one of the hard things to understand is, should you wait until the spring, right? Do you think there's going to be further rate reductions? And if there are those going to equate to a strong spring and rising prices? Historically in California, we see most of our price jumps actually occur in the spring, moreover, versus the rest of the year. Now, if you're a seller, right, you've kind of got the same conundrum, but you're on the other side. If you're looking at offers right now, maybe they're not the offers that you were hoping to get. The question is it worth waiting and pressing your luck to spring? And this is the advice I would give both of these groups of people. We can talk about where we think the market is right now, but anything beyond that is really guessing. So it's important to kind of take a look at where things are and understand there's a certain element of uncertainty that comes with holding off and waiting. And there's a cost to doing that and having that level of uncertainty. Definitely take a look at where your finances are today. Understand if rates do in fact go down, you really get the best of both worlds because you get today's prices, but you might still be able to take advantage of tomorrow's rates. Anyhow, do not forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell if you are a first-time home buyer. Really, we have a passion for home ownership. We are on a mission here at Domicile Real Estate to help California's renters become homeowners. If that is you, we would absolutely love to chat with you. Don't be afraid to reach out. Our contact information is down below, and we will see you again real soon.